Rev up your engines! All right, today we got one of the best SUVs ever made. It's an Acura RDX. He's the original owner. He's got over 200,000 miles on it, and he has spent about $100 in repairing things that actually broke. Changed the oil every 5,000 miles, and he's on a second set of brake pads on it. But things that actually broke down that aren't normal maintenance, he's only spent about $100. Eat your hearts out, BMW and Audi and Mercedes owners, right? 200,000 miles. Other than regular maintenance, which is a lot cheaper than those cars anyways, you know, they spend $100 for minor little things, plastic louvers that broke. Now, how did this happen and what's behind this car? You're gonna find out. This is a V6 engine, but it had the stupid cylinder deactivation set up on it. So he had the cylinder deactivation system deactivated, so it doesn't work anymore, right? Now he's got 200,000 miles on it. It does not burn oil. If he hadn't have done that, I can guarantee it'd be an oil burner. Because when you have a hot cylinder next to a cold cylinder, next to a hot cylinder, because the middle one's deactivated, it warps the aluminum, then the engine starts burning oil. It's been over 100,000 miles, still doesn't burn oil, and it runs perfectly fine. So, a system like that, I don't advise buying one in the first place, but if you do have one, either learn how to do it yourself or pay a mechanic like me to deactivate the system, because yes, you'll get a little bit worse gas mileage. And in this case, he didn't even notice the difference in gas mileage because it's getting 26 on the highway for a big, heavy, all-wheel drive SUV. That's decent gas mileage, especially since it's, you know, 13 years old. So he also said, of course, it runs smoother now. Now, you buy a vehicle like this, you're buying it a lot because of the reason it rides and that it runs smooth. Why would you want something that's 6 cylinders running on 4, that's designed for 6, to get maybe 1 or 2 miles a gallon better gas mileage, right? He was smart, he had it deactivated. So keep that in mind. If you're looking at a used one, definitely check to see if it's burning oil. Stick your finger in the tailpipe, see if it's dirty. Pull out one of the front spark plugs that are easy to get to, see if they got burnt carbon on them. Real easy thing to do, because you don't want an oil burner. But hey, 200,000 miles, his isn't, because he had it deactivated. Particular one was made in the United States, and they do a pretty good job here. They're not, you know, I like the Japanese ones, but this one was made in the United States, and Honda's been making them here for decades. Check it out. Look at the leather seats. They're in excellent shape. Look at them. You know why they're in excellent shape? He's used the Griot leather cleaner every 3 months, and look at the shape they're in. So you do have to take care of leather. You know, if you've got just a conventional upholstery one, you clean it every once in a while if the kids flip out or somebody drinks too much and tosses their cookies on the seats. But leather, you got to take a little bit of care. But he did. All that mileage, 13 years, they still look like they came off the showroom floor. So heads up to that company, Griots. I got to say, got to be a good quality product. They can keep the seats holding up that long. But on the other hand, if you're the type of person that's going to do anything like that, you're just going to sit and drive it around, my advice is don't buy leather seats. And especially don't buy the faux leather seats, because the faux leather seats, they'll call them Leather Rat or Leather Generation 3, whatever stupid name they give them, they wear out faster, right? And they won't clean up like the leather because they're man-made, just like take a leather jacket. If you drive motorcycles, you can buy a leather jacket that's real leather, use leather treatment, it'll be great. But if you're cheap and you buy the fake leather jackets that look exactly the same but cost like 1/3 the price, they'll start cracking after a few years. There's nothing you can do, throw away and buy another one. So you got leather seats, treat them every once in a while. We can see the wheels have stayed up really well. They don't have chips or anything on them. Back seats got lots of room. Got a reasonable amount of trunk space. Being a 13-year-old vehicle, let's see what kind of creature comforts it's got. And it's got quite a bit. It's got over 200,000 miles on it. Old school map from Honda. Most people use their phones these days, but fancy stereo system. Very easy to operate, dual controls with buttons, not digital crap, easy to operate. It does have a start-stop button with no key, but that's just how they all are. A reliable 6-speed transmission, and if you like fooling around, it's got paddle shifters. There's the upshift, There's the downshift. Check it out. It's still got a real emergency brake. One that you step on and one that you step off. None of this electronic stuff. Here you go with a fancy scan tool. See what shape this thing is in after 200,000 plus miles. Diagnostics. We'll do a standalone diagnosis. Here we go. Read the VIN already. 2013 Acura RDX. You can do a full topology scan, so that's what we're gonna do. While we're doing it, we'll check it out. Everything's still in excellent shape. The dash isn't cracked or sticky or anything. Got a sunroof if you're into that kind of stuff. A lot of room in the back seats. Stereo system. It's almost done, 84% done. It's only found 2 trouble codes. We'll wait till it gets to 100%. First, we'll check out the tire pressure monitoring system. Alright, it's got 3 codes. We'll start with the tire pressure monitoring system. One of the tire pressure monitoring things probably worn out. The batteries go bad when they're 13 years old. Left tire, low air pressure. It's because the sensor there doesn't work anymore. Well, he's got a tire pressure gauge. That's good enough. And we'll check out the real-time all-wheel drive. It says it's got 1 code. Differential fluid pressure deviation high. Now, he just changed it. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to turn the engine off. Then we'll just push the button. So the idiot lights are on. And we'll erase that code, see if it comes back. Black's good, red's bad. 1 is perfect. It's a 1/100th. That's perfect. Now it's off a little bit. 1 almost running perfect. The short-term and a long-term fuel bank is 1.06. 0 is perfect, but I mean it's pretty close to perfect for a car that's got 200,000 miles. It's adding a little bit of fuel. You might want to clean the fuel injectors and make it go perfect, but it's pretty close to perfect for a car that's got that many miles on it. Rocker arm oil control, they're all off because he's had the system disconnected, so it didn't wear the engine and burn oil, so they're all going to be off. Catalyst temperatures, totally normal. We got misfires, of course, there's 0 across the board. It's a Honda. They run so well. Oh, let's close the hood, take it for a spin. Oh, here we go. We'll back it up. All right, it's an old car, but look, still got a backup camera on it. Still got a backup camera. We can see the neighbor's mailbox that's been hit numerous times. Let's stay away from that. We're closer though. Still in the yellow zone. All right. What do you notice? Smooth as can be. A lot of it has to do with him deactivating the cylinder deactivation too. So let's see how it shifts. Look at that. You can barely feel it shift. The clicking noise was the door locks locking. That wasn't the transmission. The only way you can tell it's shifting is by looking at the tachometer. You see it go up and down. 200,000 miles. Really. It still has the original struts on it. Rides good. Still handles pretty good. I wouldn't even worry about it. With the old struts like this, the best way to check them is you take them on a highway, and if it's riding like this, and all of a sudden you hit bumps, and it starts going all over, that means the struts are worn out. Other than that, hey, these things are so well made, these struts, they don't need replacing. Look, we stop, does it bounce? No, it doesn't bounce. And it still rides pretty good. Let's just say, they don't make them like they used to. He was thinking about getting another vehicle and giving this to one of his grandkids, but guess what? He can't find anything he'd want to replace it with, and I kind of agree. We go on Tobacco Road, and yes, the economy still isn't doing too good because they tore these woods down 2 years ago, and they still haven't built in any of the field. Look, you can even see the little trees are starting to grow back. That doesn't bode well for the economy. And here we come to our little drag strip. There's nobody out, so we'll come to a stop, and I'll bet you this thing should get up pretty good. Here we go. Yes, listen to that. Oh, it's really kicking in. Shifts like a dream. You don't have to worry about passing people in this. And really, if you don't drive like this and drive more conservatively, hey, 27 miles, you can't argue about 27 miles a gallon on the highway. Something this big, all-wheel drive, you're not going to get stuck. And speaking of the all-wheel drive, I do have to say, in my own personal experience, I have never seen a Honda all-wheel drive system break. Ever, unless the car was in a massive wreck, then they totaled the car anyways. So, if you're worried about it, pretty solid all-wheel drive systems. And it still handles fine. Hey, these were amazing cars in the day. Sure, they weren't giving them away, but hey, this thing was only in the 30s when it was new, and today the average car is 50,000 up, so it's a lot more than an average car. Now here's a little tire lesson. These tires he's had on For over 60,000 miles, look at all the tread they have left. He liked these Continentals. He's got the Continental Eco Plus, and he loves them. It originally came with Michelin's, which are good tires, but they were louder than this. He didn't like the loudness. These are quieter tires. I do have to say, that is 60,000 miles of wear on that. It's got tons of tread left. So keep that in mind next time you get tires. You want ones that last a long time, but you don't like noise? Hey, maybe try these Continentals. The Michelin's are good tires. The Michelin's on my wife's Lexus are perfectly fine, right? But they're a little bit louder than this. And if you don't like noise, hey, think about that. Now, as for the car itself, hey, what can you say? He spent $100 on non-maintenance repairs. And it's got 200,000 miles on it. He's the original owner, right? Still runs like a top. Let's just say they don't make them like they used to. They just don't. And this is a perfect example. You'd never think this car had 200,000 miles after you look at it and drive it. Heat, air conditioning, everything works fine on it. So if you're thinking about buying a used SUV, you definitely don't want to put this one on your checklist to see if you could find one that's in a decent shape like this, instead of spending $50,000 to $90,000 for a brand new version of an SUV this size. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.